Blessings, blessings, blessings. Good to see each and every one of y'all here today. This is Vested in Milwaukee, and I am your host, Dr. David D. King, the next mayor of the city of Milwaukee. And I am just grateful and blessed to have each and every one of y'all here today. Just go ahead and begin to share as I'm sharing because we have a special guest today who is doing some great work in the city of Milwaukee. Now, you guys know that Vested in Milwaukee is a show about Milwaukee, the good, the bad, the ugly, the truth. And so we are here today, and I'm bringing in a young lady that is doing a phenomenal job inside the city of Milwaukee. And you know what, guys? I'm gonna tell you this. I met her when she was outside doing a Facebook Live, you guys. She was doing it was nobody but God. She was doing a Facebook Live, and I was listening to her. And what I loved about what she was saying, because everything she was saying was true. But what I loved the most about what she was saying is because of the compassion. She was so passionate about what she's doing in the city of Milwaukee, and I'm excited about it because anytime you have passion, passion produces purpose, and so I'm excited to have her here with us today, and I'm going to let her come on and introduce herself, and she's going to tell us what she's doing. Then we're going to have a good dialogue on some things that's going on in the city of Milwaukee. So, with further ado, ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Mercedes.
Hello, how y'all doing?
Blessings, Mercedes. Blessings for being with me. I'm honored to have you today.
Thank you for having me on. I'm gratefully appreciative for this opportunity. So thank you.
So, what I need for you to do for me right now is tell the people of Milwaukee, and not only Milwaukee, but the state of Wisconsin. And I want to give a shout out to Feed Spot. Feed Spot has allowed Kingdom Citizens of Wisconsin to be ranked number 9 of the best political podcasts in the state of Wisconsin. So I want to give a shout out to Speed Spot for that.
Woo woo!
Amen. Look up Feed Spot and check them out. Again, feedspot.com. Check them out. And I want you guys to know it is nobody but God that we're ranked number 9. We was ranked 10. We moving up, ranked number 9. Until we become number 1, I won't be satisfied. So, Mercedes, why don't you tell the people a little bit about you and what you are doing in the city of Milwaukee?
Thank you. My name is Mercedes. I am the founder and CEO of Joyce's House Education Center. We are Wisconsin's only Black-owned and woman-owned adult education program. We provide not only just GED testing or GED preparation, we are a full service test center right in the heart of Milwaukee. So we open up accessibility options so that you can um, elevate where you are in life, right? So some people need to go, get a GED, or they need to go for a certification examination for their job, or just completed college and they need to get different licensure. So we do all of that stuff. And we've partnered with Pearson, Criterion, Measure Learning, and a few different other exam sponsors to help bring these services to the people in Milwaukee. So, yeah.
So let's talk about that for example, because the biggest enemy in Milwaukee right now is not racism. To me,
Mm-hmm.
the biggest enemy to Milwaukee right now is ignorance.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, that people can't read, people can't receive real knowledge and understanding. And so for me, that's the biggest enemy. Ignorance is the biggest enemy to anything. And so I know that you deal with the GDs. Also know you deal with individuals that can't read.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, uh, why don't you share with us about that, about the number, or if you got numbers or percentage of how many people that in the city of Milwaukee alone that has a problem with reading?
Well, in our city, well, I'm going to say on the state level, out of a state level, our literacy, we in trouble. I'll say that because out of four adults, so for holding up four fingers, out of four adults, one person struggles with literacy. That one person, 9 times out of 10, statistically, is a woman. Statistics shows that if a woman struggles with literacy, mother, and she most likely is a mother, 73% of that, she'll struggle with literacy, which until fall onto her children. And so, what does that look like? Um, right now, not just in our city, not just in our state, this is a nationwide problem we're also having too. 72% of African American males cannot read beyond the third grade reading level. And all of this goes back to uh, our parents, our communities, right? And just like you said, not knowing things, right? Being ignorant to certain things. There's an old proverb that we all say is that, and it is in the Bible too, because Jesus said it, that for lack of knowledge, my people shall perish. And so
Yes.
that's a real thing. $105 billion last year was used in healthcare costs because of people who lack literacy. And literacy can look like not maybe understanding how to read certain forms, not knowing how to fill them out in this entirety. Struggling with just the daily things that we might think is simple, that other person might struggle with, and which impacts employment, which impacts housing, which impacts families, which it impacts so many different things. It increases incarceration rates. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
it all goes into more so. Again, this is just a recipe for disaster if we don't do something about it.
And so when you, um, I know for me, when I saw statistics and
Hmm.
I watched, I forgot if it was 2022 or 2021, but when the children in MPS graduated, only 9% could read and do math at their grade level. So
Hmm.
91% of those individuals that graduated can't read and can't do math. And for me, um, helping them get employment, and I watched the young mans had to bring their girlfriends in to fill out the application
Right.
because they couldn't read. And so our community, when it whether it comes to the school system, is failing our children because I believe from K5 to third grade, you're supposed to learn how to read, and from fourth grade on up, you read to learn. And
That's right.
so, and if they're not doing that with our children, then we got a bigger issue, and we got to ask ourselves: Is it planned? Is it part of their master plan?
Hmm.
Because when slavery was, it was voodoo to learn to read, because then
Right.
if you don't know how to read, they can control you.
That's right.
And now you got another generation that can't read that they're trying to control.
Well,
So
you know what they say, right?
go
They
ahead,
say they say, well, if you want to hide anything from us, to put it
put
where?
it in the book.
Right.
Put it in the book.
And so unfortunately that saying still is a real thing, right? Like you said, at one point in time, I mean, it was against the law for slaves to know how to read. My great grandmother did not know how to read or write. And I lived with her for the first 5 years of my life. So I had an experience of seeing someone who was a first generation out of slavery who did not have those skills but knew how to clean and knew how to cook and knew how to be a caretaker in those kind of ways because that's what they were taught. But financial literacy or even how to read simple things, it isn't just start at the school part. It goes back to at home because we as parents, we are our children's first teachers. And so if as a
Yes.
parent, if I'm struggling with reading, if I don't have a good relationship with reading, just like with a good relationship with money, if you're not exhibiting a good relationship with money, well, how are our children going to grasp that concept if we are their major influence? You know?
Yes. You're absolutely right. And I'm doing some studying on history, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I tell people this, and um, and some is gonna get mad at me when I say it this way, but I'm used to that.
Mm-hmm.
I said, stop teaching Black history and teach American history. Because if you teach American history, you'll find out so many Blacks done so much great things. For example, the first Black man to ever been elected in any office in this country was in 1641.
Right.
So,
Right.
if you move that watered down history that they're teaching, telling you you was a slave, and then you go and look at the real history and be like,
Mm-hmm.
oh my God, it was a Black man that went one way, and Paul Revere went the other way to
Right.
say the British is coming, but nobody said nothing. And because you're not reading, you won't know the real
Mm-hmm.
history,
Mm-hmm.
And so when you can empower people through reading, right? It's just something about when they learn for themselves, then they realize how bad they've been lied to. And so why don't you tell us how the Joyce House started?
Yeah, sure. So I actually started it out. Joyce was my grandmother. So a lot of people always be like, "Who is Joyce?" or "Where is Joyce?" Joyce is my grandmother. My grandmother struggled with addiction for over 30 years, and my grandmother did not have a high school diploma or a GED. My grandmother got sober, and she was sober for the last 14 years of her life. Um, but my grandmother passed away in November of 2015. She's 58 when she passed, and at that time was crazy enough. I still always say it's crazy, or it's just divine. I actually dreamed of Joyce's house. And at that time, I dreamed of it as it was a recovery home for women recovering from addiction, like my grandmother. And I dreamed of it more than once. So I did pursue it. And I made it come into fruition. We were open for about 4.5 years. I've serviced over 228 women in that capacity. I'm also a licensed substance abuse counselor. That's also where our GED program actually got started inside of the recovery home. It was because of my grandmother's inspiration and the stories of where I come from. So many of the people in my family and the women before me do not have high school diplomas or GEDs, but my my mother, my grandmother, my great great grandmother, and my great grandmother, they made it their business to make sure that we got ours, because they were just like, there's no way that the next generation is going to just keep doing the same thing. So I had a memory of me and my grandmother one day when I was at the recovery house, and that memory was I was 16 and I was coming home from school. I believe I was coming home because my grandmother stayed upstairs and we stayed downstairs, and my grandmother was like, "Ain't no way you gonna get a high school diploma and I don't have one." And so she went and enrolled in classes at the YWCA, but she didn't finish because, like, a lot of our people, when it gets to math, it gets very challenging, and a lot of people um, they give up. And so my grandmother, she decided that her victory was going to be through her grandchildren. So she saw myself and my middle sister, go on and graduate. But that's where the inspiration behind the GED program came from. And I just was like, man, I wonder what that would look like if I alleviated some barriers for people who not just recovering from addiction, but just alleviate barriers for people who are trying to get this peace in their life and they can't. So once I did it, and that was in 2021 when I first started that. And again, I started that in the recovery house. In almost 3 years' time, I've had to move it out of the recovery house. We have pivoted from the recovery program and focus on the just adult education and family literacy. We had just 2 computers, and now we have 10, and now we administer over 3,000 exams. So
Oh,
that's in a nutshell how everything got started.
3,000?
Yes, over 3,000 exams. I when people always ask me like, so what exams do you do? And I'm just like, okay, I can tell you some, but I can't tell you all because I like literally today I seen an exam that I never seen before. I was just like, oh, okay, well, this is a computer like a computer hacker person. He's trying to figure out how not to be a hacker or security hacker or something like that. But we do so many different exams. So yeah.
Wow. And so what you're saying
Hmm.
in a nutshell is that through your grandmother and great grandmother them experience, you broke the generational curse.
Hmm.
And now you're using being free to be a blessing to other people. Why don't you tell them where you located?
Yeah, so we're located at 5601 West North Avenue, right on the corner of 56 and North Avenue, the heart of the city. So we're about 10-15 minutes from anywhere in the city. Very accessible.
And what I'm doing right now, I am typing it in and then I'm putting it up on the screen. There you go.
Thank
That's
you.
exactly where she's at, 5601 West North Avenue. And she is very passionate about teaching people, learning them, teaching them to learn how to read, get their GEDs, get what they want. And I'm one of the things that I also want you to talk about is your passion. When I saw that uh, Facebook Live you was doing and how passionate you was, I had to get you on this show to share your passion because you're not doing it just to be doing anything.
No.
You're doing it for other people. And I think that's one of the reasons why we click because I worked in
Hmm.
the city for over 30 years, not to get money for myself, but to empower other people.
That's right.
And and you know, for me, when you empower other people, that's a better reward than a dollar would ever have, you know? So why
Absolutely.
don't you tell your talk about your passion?
Well, I'm glad that you said that. So, in my life and in my career, I meet a lot of passionate people, and I'm confident that you meet a lot of passionate people too. But what I've learned over time, and I have met this monk. Um, he's not a monk anymore. It's crazy, but I met a monk, and this monk said to me that your passion is for you, but your purpose is for others.
Yes.
That has never left me. Like that has never, ever, ever left me. So when I've always heard like, man, Mercedes, you're so passionate. And I'm just like, is it that I'm passionate or that you can actually feel my purpose or that you can actually see what I see? And,
Well,
and
let me
we
say it
all we
this
all
way.
incorporate into each other's dream. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah. So let me say it this way because I tell people this all the time. Your
Hmm.
passion always produce your purpose.
Yeah.
So yeah. So when people see my passion, they understand my purpose. You see what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So when I saw your passion, I understood your purpose. So you know, and I'm sitting there like, oh my gosh, she wants these people to learn how to read. She wants them to think and to know that you can reach it. You can get your papers. You can become whatever you want to be. I am a high school basketball coach, and I meet with the kids, the young men, and their parents, and I say, listen, basketball is Plan B. What's Plan
Hmm.
A? Tell me what you want to do in life, just in case you bust your knee or you mess up your ankle, or you'll get an ACL or MCL injury. What do you want to do in life? Because my goal is to help you get to that area of a life. My goal is to help you use everything in me to help you be successful. And I see that in you. And that's why I was like, I ain't going nowhere. I'm gonna wait till you finish this live. Because let's just talk about, let's say, a couple of success stories that you just sit back sometime on your lowest days and look at and be like, wow, okay.
The thing of it all is that when you have the opportunity to be a part of a person's journey, whether it's a person that does really well or they don't complete their fulfillment, to me it's still a form of success because I had an
Yes.
opportunity to be present, to be a part of this. And so I've had one in particular that I like to talk about is I had a client who was recovering from addiction, and she didn't have a high school diploma, she didn't have certain work experiences either. Through coming through Joyce's house, she ended up getting her GED. She ended up getting sober. She was sober for almost 2 years at the time. And she ended up going on to get a good job in college.
Mm. Yeah.
Those kind of things, when you see people who feel like they're at the lowest of the low, you know, my uncle Timothy, he might be listening, and what I'm about to say, he's gonna laugh so hard because when I was a kid, he used to call us the scums of the earth. And just to play with us, right? But I've met people who actually said that about themselves, and they felt like they were at the low of the low. And so to see them overcome many different obstacles and get to the point where I'm ready to take my GED exam, and they take all 5 of those exams and they pass those 5 exams, they realize that like their potential is limitless. I just was telling a young man today, I said, you do understand that once you obtain this, you have an opportunity of making $9,000 more a year.
Mm.
This is something that can help propel you, not just you, but your children. This is going to help put you in a better position in life. And so I have a lot of those coaching conversations with my adult learners because most of them are working, or I mean, they've been through life. Life has happened at some point, right, where they might have fell off the wagon, and now they're coming, and now they're like, hey, I don't want to lose my way.
Right.
I had another person that came to me that um beautiful young man. We actually our news story aired, I want to say July 5th or something like that. But he got into some issues during COVID time because it was really hard, and a lot of people forgot about how COVID affected the youth with their education and social dynamics. It really impacted the youth, and so a lot of our youth dropped out of school. This
Mm-hmm.
young man, he stayed with me. He stayed through it, and he actually has his high school diploma. I was going to say GED. He got his high school diploma. So we do partner with Milwaukee Public Schools. We do partner with Wauwatosa. We partner with different districts for the GED Options 2 program. So if they're under a certain age, they can still go to high school. Like for instance, we have a wonderful relationship at Transition High School. Shout out to Ms. Vi over there. Amazing school. If they're between the ages of 18 to 20, I help usher them right over to that school because you have an opportunity of getting your high school diploma instead of getting your GED. What's the difference? Well, a high school diploma is a lot more better because it's like 4 years of you doing high school, and the GED is you took 5 tests to be equivalent. A HSED is only a Wisconsin-based diploma, which means that it's only a Wisconsin-based diploma. It's only good here.
Right. And so, you know, let's talk about COVID for a minute in that
Mm-hmm.
era. Our children, and when I say our children, I'm talking about Black community now.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Our children was already behind, but when COVID hit and they went virtual, they
Yes.
fell 2 years behind.
Yes, yes, they did. I can honestly say that I see that working with a lot of the credit recovery students. I see it every single day. Every single day.
And so, I and when you look at those that are being incarcerated, it's a
Mm-hmm.
lot. It's Majority is uneducated. Majority can't read. Majority,
75%.
yes. And so we have a big problem on our hands, and nobody want to talk about it.
We do.
The elected officials don't want to talk about it. Our school board don't want to admit they're failing. And let me say it this way, because being uneducated, that means we are even uneducated when it comes to federal, state, and local government. Okay.
Right.
And so because we don't read about government, we allow them to tell us everything. And for example, MPS is run by MPS school board. It's no outside interference. They the one who make the budget. They the
Right.
one who approve the curriculum. So if the curriculum is that bad where our children is not reading and nobody is saying nothing, but you want to blame a party instead of the people that's in charge, we got a big problem right there. Because if we don't take time to learn local government, to know who to go after, to who to deal with when we have a problem, then how are we going to help these children? How are we going to help these babies or these young adults? You know, because they got to be the next leadership but they will never be leaders if
Right.
they don't know. So
Right.
Jason Fields used to say it all the time. Either you at the table or you on the menu.
That's right.
And our children is on the menu. They not
Right.
at the table. They on the menu.
Well, we the entree, because I'm gonna tell you what, or the appetizer, because collaboration works, right?
Yes.
Collaboration works, and it's been proven time and time over again. You know, people can lie but numbers don't lie. So collaboration does work. With the collaboration of knowledgeable families, a supportive school environment, a supportive village meaning the community that you live in, you have a better chance. But let me ask you this: who is the school system failing to? Is failing to us, or is it failing to the construct that has been this way for over 200 years?
Well, I say that the school system is doing what it was designed to do. Okay?
That's right. That's right.
And so the reading started in the church. That's how they learned how to read, by reading the Bible. School was in the church, and it was there to empower people. Then we gave it over to the state, and you can see it declining year after year after year after year. And so, you know, and we sit here and we say, okay, when we was in school, and I go back to me because we're two different generations. When I was in school, we had band where we took home instruments. We had home economics. We had math club where we challenged in other schools in math tournaments. We had debate clubs where we challenged in different ones in debate. We had shop classes. We had auto mechanic classes. So we had things that prepared us, and we had councils, so-called guiding councils, to guide us in the direction that we might want to go in career.
Right.
And then if our parents worked and everything, we had this thing called social center. Well, burger for life. Your mom would know what that means. And so, you know, we had this, right? So it was a community. But we don't have that now, because majority of the neighborhood schools are apartment buildings now.
Yeah, I know. My elementary school actually got converted to one. I went to Garfield Elementary School. I actually had the opportunity to meet Dr. James Cameron. I met him as a second. I love telling this story. It's like one of my favorite stories to tell. If y'all don't know who Dr. James Cameron is, you should. He actually is the person who created the American Black Holocaust Museum.
Yes.
And when I was in second grade, he came to my class. I was in Miss Grant's class, and he came in our class. He read us a story. He came every week. And he read us a story, and he said he wanted our class to paint the back mural of the building, the original building. So my second grade class, I remember because I had yellow paint on my hand and my friend had pink, and we were just so happy to be a part of something like that.
Yes.
And he bought that building, I believe, for $2. And that community was so strong.
Yeah. Oh
The
yeah.
the Halar community was very strong in the early 90s, 80s, and 70s. They were a very strong community. It was the first African American, prominent African American community in Milwaukee. Um, and so I was grateful to go to a school like that and to have um, meet Dr. James Cameron and to walk around and see, wow, all these Black people in this neighborhood, they doctors, lawyers, they were somebody important,
Right.
and it made me feel like I should be somebody important, honestly, but looking back and you go over there now, I do get emotional still about it because it's like erasing history,
Yeah.
and it's become more gentrified.
Yeah.
And so the failing schools, to bring you back to your point, which was my elementary school ended up becoming a low rate school in the early 2000s, well, later 2000s. Same thing with Palmer. Do you remember Palmer?
Of course.
Of course you do. Palmer became their attendance rates were low too, so they decided to combine the two schools, and so Palmer became George Washington Carver. Then they started to do the same thing with Hopkins, but these are all schools that are failing. Schools that are failing, they start to bring them together, and they become bigger schools, like how they did North Division. They tried to make like 3 different schools in North Division because they were failing.
Yeah.
But they do
And
not do that in suburban areas.
not at all. And when you look at where we went to school, me, your mom,
Hmm.
and I don't know, did your mom go to Berger?
My mom went to Garfield like I did.
Oh, she went to Garfield.
Yep.
Well, we grew up in Victor Berger, right?
Yep.
And
My grandma went to Victor Burger.
okay, so Victor Berger was a family. Okay, it was a community. I mean, we had nationals. We had Mr. Cooper on Third and Burleigh, which is Martin Luther King and Burleigh now.
Yeah.
We had the Commandos next to the George Webbs. We had upstairs in the apartment building. You had the Black Panthers, and you had the storefront churches, and then you had Leaners, and then you had QFNA. So we had it. We had it going on, and so I tell you this story. One time, I was at Victor Berger. I think I was in 5th grade or 6th grade, and I clowned, and I had a bad report card, and I knew not to take the report card home. And so I took the report card and I threw it in the garbage in Nationals Foods, right behind Victor Berger School. I live 2 blocks from Victor Berger School on 5th and Ring. That report card, this is how much of a community we was. Somebody saw me throw it in the garbage. They got it out the garbage and they took it to my house. So by the time I got home, the report card was there. And to this day, I don't know who did it, but if I find out who you are, nah, I ain't gonna do nothing. But it got to the house. This is a type of community that we lived in, right? And so it was accountability everywhere. And I remember each generation, and I used to sit with the older generation and listen to them, and the older men never wanted to owe nobody nothing. Even if their family was struggling or they didn't have enough for food, you give it to them, they giving it right back. They didn't believe in that. They didn't.
That's right.
They taught me we don't believe in that. You take care of your responsibility, right? And so I got a whooping because I didn't bring a book home, and we didn't have no homework, so I didn't want to carry no books. But I got a whooping. And my dad was like, "Oh no, you're gonna bring a book home." And I'm sitting there like, "Oh wow." So here it is. responsibility. You're going to learn to read. And then when it was time for me to leave school and to go to work, I was like, Dad, let me come to A.O. Smith with you. He was like, oh no, you're not coming in here.
That's
And
right.
today I'm so grateful because I end up managing $1 million companies instead of going home, taking a bath before I can go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but now we can't even we can't help our kids because the new math they're doing, that Common Core math they're doing, parents don't even know that math.
That's right. I can honestly say my youngest is 8, and there's times I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Why are they showing them so many different ways to do one question? You know?
Right.
But that's how the school system is working it. So I make sure that I do my best diligence to stay on top of that. So because things change and information gets out, I say we need to update our information that we got locked in up here from our parents and grandparents or what have you, at least every 5 to 10 years because times change. So I literally like to make sure that I know what's going on within the kids and these high schools. I have teenagers, so I like to make sure I know what's going on because the
Yes.
Common Core is definitely, you'd be like, wait a minute, you just asked what 5 times 3 is 3 different ways.
Right.
You know?
And you know, the thing about it is, when Common Core first came out, I fought against Common Core. I found out that at the time, Governor Evers was over DPI, and and a lot of people don't even know the person that brought that kind of education in was the one who is now your governor. So that's the one you was complaining about is the one you voted in as governor. And I remember he took the money before he ever saw the curriculum. So he took money before he saw the curriculum. And now he was obligated to push the curriculum because he already had the money. And let me just pause for a minute because I just want to announce that this Saturday at 2 p.m. at 4108 North 51st Street, we're having an event that's showing the Extreme Sex Edge CRT, social emotional learning in the schools. And then we're going to show you parents how to fight back, because what's happening is that what people don't know is that now they're calling math racist and violence. And so in Oregon, you don't have to take a state test anymore. You know that state test when you're a senior to do your reading, your writing, and your math? Well, they removed that, and they said we're doing that because of the colored children. So they're trying to say colored children are so ignorant that they won't pass the test, so we're not going to do the test at all.
I mean, but unfortunately, and I don't want to say it's not just ignorance. I keep going back to is the whole thing of collaboration works. If the parents don't know how to, like you said, they don't know how to do this math, they might not even completed formal school themselves.
Right.
And so then you have a child who is passing the grade that they might have been in. They never seen this word. They've never heard of it before. And so now you leaving the child to fend for themselves because the parent doesn't know, right? And so this start many years before they get to even high school. So by the time they get to that point, they're already not interested. They're not interested.
Yep. So let me
nobody around them.
Let me ask this. If I was a parent and I know that my reading is not where it's at, I'm not even really interested in a GED, but I do want to know reading because I can empower myself if I know reading. What number can they call to talk about learning how to read?
Absolutely. So, first and foremost, before I give out that information, I would say this. that's a huge thing to admit, right?
Yes.
To say I'm struggling with reading, because a lot of us, we're not just embarrassed, we're taught to have a certain level of pride. We're taught to be independent and strong. And for those who are struggling with literacy, maybe comprehension, right? So meaning they can read, but you can ask them questions and they're unsure what they've read. Or if you don't know how to read at all, we can help get you to the point to where you are starting, because practice makes progress. You can always call Joyce's House Education Center at 414-249-4355. Again,
All
that's
right.
414-249-4355. And we're non-judgmental. Our whole thing of it all is that if we get you to reading and getting you to a place where you're comfortable and you have a better relationship with reading and arithmetic and understanding, the next generation will.
Yes.
Because each one truly does teach one.
And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. I put it on, and I'm going to put it up on the screen as well. There it is. That's the phone number, 414-249-4355. And the thing about it is, in order for us um, to get anything done or to be better at anything, we got to first admit, I need some help. I need help. You might be 24 years old. You want a job, but you know you can't read the application. Then you need to call this number so you
Mm-hmm.
can get some help. It's nothing wrong with to admit. It ain't like Mercedes is gonna go and tell the whole world, "Oh, Johnny just came to me." No, this is a private session between
Yep.
you and the Joyce House, and they're there to help you in any and every way they can. And if you're a person that like what the Joyce House is doing, give her a call and
Mm-hmm.
ask her, can you take a tour? Maybe you might want to be a donor and
We
donate
love
to the
that.
Joyce House so that they can continue to do more. I mean, and I already done let her know, and I don't have to hide it or anything, because people know when I talk, I'm bold about it, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
I'm I'm really straightforward. I already told her the moment I become mayor, we gonna make sure that we help any child or adult that want to learn how to read, and we're going through the Joyce House. I'm letting y'all know now. She ain't told me to say nothing. I
I did
just
not.
go. I I just go in the community, and here's why I say this, y'all. Y'all listen to this. Here's why I say this. Because anytime an organization is doing something good, the the elected officials of the city try to muzzle it if they don't sound like them. And I know for a fact, because Wisconsin God Squad done put thousands of people to work,
Mm-hmm.
and we helped thousands of people that were doing drugs. We helped a lot of people that were suicidal. And the first thing they came to me and said is, "We'll give you money if you shut up." And so they was not concerned about the people getting the help they need. And so instead of giving out money to people that ain't doing nothing, why not give it to people that are actually changing lives or empowering lives so they can even do more? And this is what it's about with the new mayor of Milwaukee. We're looking for success stories, not numbers, because
Mm-hmm.
anybody can forge numbers. But the success stories is most important. That's why every day when I run into somebody, they'll say, "Man, thank you for helping me. You helped me. Now I'm helping." There's people that I help that I'm now helping their children. And and I'm like, "So and so your mama? Oh wow." You know, but
Right.
this is what it's about, though. It's about us being blessing to
Mm-hmm.
someone else. And so, the Joyce House is doing that. They are on the corner of
Mm-hmm.
North Avenue, you guys, right on the corner of 56 and North Avenue.
Yep.
Go there. If you want to be like Nicodemus, call her and try to sneak in at night just to get the help you need. But get the help. I'm exposing places that are really doing a great job. I love, and everybody know, I always talk about the collective, how they all came
Mm-hmm.
together and went down in Bayshore, and they operated in the spirit of excellence. You know, that's why
With
I
my
always,
people down there.
oh, those your people down
With
there?
my people down there.
Yes, and that's why I do what I do, and I say it because they are literally working hard to help other people better their lives, help small business owners get started, and just like Geraldine Grayson, she's doing a great job with those young men on the South
Mm-hmm.
Side. She's bringing them in. They learning their schooling. They're getting the credit that they need. Plus, they're working while they're getting
Yes.
those credits. You know, these are the organizations that we supposed to be supporting. These are
Mm-hmm.
the organizations we supposed to pour into so they can do more work in our community. So when you see one that is really doing something and they're doing it because it's their passion and it's not their pocket, those are the ones we need to support. So we got about 13 minutes. I need you to just pour your heart out to those that looking for help, those single moms who's struggling to help their kids with homework, those seniors who's about to quit, those juniors who already done gave up. Come on,
Mm-hmm.
talk to them.
So, I'm going to just say this much. I'm human just like you. We're all humans. And we all go through different things. And we all need that support and help. Whether, like Dr. David King said, whether you're a single mother, I was raised by a single mother. My mother had me on her 16th birthday. So it's not like I don't understand. I do understand. I understand what it's like to be a mother, a wife, someone who wants my community to look different. So whether you get your high school diploma or your GED, for you, get it for get it because you want to, because you want to make a difference in your life and show up for yourself. Give yourself an opportunity to become the better version of yourself in whatever capacity that looks like. We're not a judgmental environment. We don't care what grade level you might have stopped at. What we do care about is how you finish, right? That's our whole thing of it all is how you finish. So you can give us a call, 414-249-4355, or you can even go to our website, which is Joyce's House, mke.org. Um, we're highly invested in Milwaukee. Milwaukee is my city, is my home. Um, it will always and forever be. And I just want everyone to know that as long as you care about the people who are in your household, the people outside of your household, the people who live around your household, the people who are in your neighborhoods, the people who make the major decisions in your city, the people who are educating your children, who are being the pediatricians and doctors to your children and family, learning how to have collaborative conversations. This is what all literacy involves. So if you don't understand and if you are struggling, what's up? I'm here. Give me a call. Don't short yourself. All right? One love, Milwaukee.
You know, I love the way you said that. Don't short yourself, because that's all you shorting is
Yeah,
yourself. And so, you know, I'm blessed to have you on the show. You know, your work, your passion is amazing,
thank
and
you.
I know together we're going to be able to be a blessing to a whole city. And is and you know, it's not, I mean, we are concerned about the African American community, but we also concerned about each and every individual that lives in the city of Milwaukee,
That's
that
right.
we can be a blessing to. I've been talking about you. I went down the street from your place. I think it's like 59th in North Avenue. They got the hot dog stand in there,
Mm-hmm.
and I went in there and I'm running my mouth. I'm telling them, look, y'all, do y'all know what y'all got up the street here? They was like, what? I'm like, right up the street on the corner of 56th and North Avenue. It's the Joyce house. You guys got to go in there. So every time I'm talking to somebody and I'm dealing with education, I'm telling them, you guys, go over by the Joyce house. So we're gonna promote you. We're gonna
Thank you.
we believe in what you're doing in the city. And I
Thank you.
again, once I become mayor, because I will be the next mayor of the city of Milwaukee, we're gonna collaborate and do some great things in our city. I told the people I'm removing the lie that they told about separation of church and state, and the churches is going to come on the side and help with some of the social issues, the mental issues. We're going to make sure our veterans is taken care of,
Absolutely.
single moms, single dads. We're going to make sure everybody is being taken care of, because if we, and people need to understand, stop asking them to pour money into a city that's bleeding. Let's stop the bleeding, start healing, and the money will automatically come.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many people waiting to pour money into Milwaukee, but they will not pour it into a sick vessel. But if we can heal the city, money will be here, businesses will come. I mean, opportunities just will be just left and right. And people got to understand, every millionaire is a millionaire because they solved the problem.
That's right. That's right. As long as you can solve a problem, you got a business. I've
There
learned
it
that.
is. Whatever it is. I mean, look at Mr. Wash. We all get sick and tired of washing our cars. So what do? We go to Mr. Wash.
That's so
Right?
true. That is so true. That is so
We
true.
and we so grateful to Mr. Wash in the summertime and in the wintertime.
Go
We are,
multiple times too.
yes.
Even get
So
a membership.
you're absolutely right. Because
Right.
I got a membership.
Me
You
too.
know,
That's how I know.
and so when you look at things that says, listen, you want money to come in the city, you want more money for MPS, fix it. You fix it, money comes. You whatever it is that you need to do in our city, if we start to heal, fix the city, and one of the things that we got to be honest with in our city is what the problem. We got to talk about the elephant in the room.
Mm-hmm.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say this. We got an event coming up. I haven't picked the date yet, but it's called Let's Talk About the Elephant in the Room. And we're gonna talk about literacy, we're gonna talk about domestic violence, we're gonna talk about mental illness, we're gonna talk about the absence of the church, because that's a big elephant in the room. We have to talk about. So we're going to have a speaker for each one of those, and then after each speaker speaks, we're going to have a panel of question and answering. But it's more of what we're going to do after this. Now that we
Right.
know the issues, what we're going to do, and then we're going to not only grade us on the work we do, but I'm gonna give you something that you can grade me as your mayor on, and says, okay, you told us you was gonna do help with literacy. Okay, what have you done? This is what we have done. You said you're gonna help with domestic violence. What have you done? This is what I've done. You said you're gonna help stopping waste and spending money at the city hall level. What have you done? This is what I've done. So you'll be able to grade me, because if we really look at every elected official right now, their grade would be a F. They failed us as aldermen, they failed us as mayors, they failed us as county executives, they failed us because they did nothing to change anything for the better, but it got worse. So, you know, those are the things that we have to start to do to grade every other community, grade their elected officials. They got scorecards on their elected officials. They watch how they vote, they watch what they do and what they say, and then they give them a report card. North side, because we don't know local government, state government, federal government, we give them a pass. And so learning, reading, studying, all of these things come hand in hand. And in order to
Right.
be that village again, in order to be that community again, you might have a neighbor that's good in math, and you might be good in reading. Say, hey, I'll trade you. You teach me reading, and I teach you math.
Right. But we
You
have to
know,
have to learn how to have those healthy conversations, and what we have to learn how to redefine what community looks like, because
yes,
community does not look like the same as it did 20, 10, 15, however years ago. Community has to be redefined. And then once we get that definition of what that looks like, then we can talk about what different gifts that we have. So then we can collaborate and we can do exchanges, because that's another form. I mean, that's what exactly what money is, right? It's another form
right.
of exchange.
It's another form, and this is how. And see, they keep us. You know the funny part about it is you got all of these black faces, and they still got us in our mind that we're the segregated, that we're the work the worst place in the area. And but the problem is it's not race, it's community based. We're
Mm-hmm.
jealous of one another. We won't come together. You know you got a individual that is doing something, instead of saying, you know what, let's look at what you're doing. Okay, you doing that, I'm doing this. How can we not be intimidated of one another and
Right.
come together and link those chains together? Because the walls of our community is broken down. The walls of our community is destroyed, and it's destroyed because they got us not trusting one another, because like I said before, you're passion driven. What you do is passion. Like I said, I heard it. I should have just Facebooked you live while you was doing your live and say, hey y'all, this is a woman that is passionate. But the thing about it is, I think I saw a lady watching by the name of Linda Wade, and I think she does ballet dancing, I think, with young ladies and
Mm,
stuff like. I think that's her. If I'm not mistaken, she has a dance studio. But a lot of people don't even know that. They should know what each other are doing and
right.
everything. And so I also want to make an announcement, because on October, and maybe you might want to come, on October 24th, I don't know if I got the flyer on my computer. I don't, and I'm gonna kick myself in the butt. But on top, October 24th, they're having a silk and paint fundraiser for my campaign. Let me pull up the flyer real quick, and I'm gonna share it, because I'm probably gonna get beat up because I should have had it on my thing, but so much going on, and I'm trying to make sure I throw everything in there. So I'm gonna,
Mm-hmm.
so okay, October 24th from 6 to 9. It's a sip and paint, but don't sip the paint. Uh, Fundraiser at the Press Room, Milwaukee, 3105 West Forest Home Avenue.
Mm,
West Forest Home Avenue. The cover charge is $45 per person and $80 a couple. And you can submit your payment to, and I'm gonna put that on the screen, but it is a fundraiser sponsored by, let me, this event is sponsored by Miss Wise Wedding Official and Learning through Play Childcare. So they are hosting a sip and paint, and I would love to see you guys there. I
okay.
don't sip, I might paint,
That's right.
but
Painting is awesome.
painting is awesome, but I don't
Hmm.
sip, but I will paint. I I'm also I'm gonna be there. Oh, and I have to say this: the press room is the home of the Milwaukee Steelers fans. Uh, that's our home. That's where we watch all the Steeler games. So you can
Mm.
see my Steeler up here. So you probably say, hey, what is that on your table? That's right, Steeler Nation. So
My dad
we
is a 49ers fan, so
I ain't gonna hold that against him. Steeler Nation.
he's
Uh, so
probably
I
watching.
I'm gonna let me type this. I'm trying to figure out how can I put this. Uh, I know how I can do it. Wait 1 second. Okay. There's always a way, right?
Always.
Always away. So let me see if it allow me to do it. If it do, then we're going to be good to go. Make a comment. Oh, it won't let me put a flyer up there. Tag nabbit. All right, so I'm gonna type it. Uh, I'll type it in. But you guys, we would love to have you join this event, and I will be doing another broadcast on tomorrow. Brother Sair, I got to put this up. Look what Brother Sair says.
You. He said you lost. You're in the wrong state to be a Steelers fan.
Brother Sair, I've been a Steelers fan since 1969. Oh, thank you, Sheena. I didn't know you was on here. Okay, she's on there. There it is. And you guys, all you got to do is send your $45 or $80 to that Cash App, and when you do that, you'll be put your name in there in a memo, so you'll be registered. We would love to have you guys come out and support. Brother Zaire, I would love to have you on my show that we can talk Milwaukee issues. You're amazing gentlemen in the work you're doing. And Invested in Milwaukee is all about us people that's doing work in Milwaukee. We're going to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly. We're going to just expose some things so we can get it right. And so we have to, we got to come together as a community again. And so you guys, the address, let me pull up the address again to Joyce House. There it is. 5601 West North Avenue. You guys stop in and see her. And her phone number is, there it is. Give her a call.
Thank you.
And, we're going to do whatever we can to support her. As your next mayor, we are really going to do some things to make Milwaukee a better place. I am serious about it. And I will promise you this as we close this out. I'm going to give her some last final words. But I promise you, one thing I can promise on my campaign trail, and it's the only promise I'm going to make, is this. I will never sell your trust. I will never sell your trust. But I will say this. You're going to get a Joe Clark and a Coach Carter type of a mayor that's going to get some work done. I'm not just going to be in office to be in office. I'm going in to do some things that's going to empower the people of Milwaukee and make our city better. Now, we got a slogan for the campaign says, you have tried the rest, now try the best. Because it's time to get some serious stuff done in the city of Milwaukee. And before I let her go, let me just put this up again. If you want to be a part of the Sip and Paint, all right, we're going to be at the press room. And it's $45 per person, $80 a couple. You can't beat that. Even if you don't drink, just come and support the campaign. And when I'm there watching the Steeler games, I drink the hardest drink in the bar, and that is cranberry juice. So come on out and join me drinking cranberry juice. And that way, just a fellowship, just to have conversation. Listen to the vision of the city, because it's about all of us, not just one of us. It's about all of us. And help me help you. Go see Mercedes at Joyce House. And so, Mercedes, I am going to give you time to give your final words, final remarks, and you will be back on the show. I just want you to know that.
Thank you. So I just would like to say thank you so much, Dr. Debbie King, for giving me the opportunity to be a part of a healthy conversation about something I'm very passionate about, my city, the people that I service, the people that I work with. Again, you guys, we are Joyce's House Education Center located at 5601 West North Avenue. We are Wisconsin's only Black owned and women operated adult education program that provides you GED testing, GED preparation in a full service test center. So you don't have to go down to MATC to just test anymore. You can come to Joyce's house, or if you still feel comfortable going to MA, that's fine too. But you do have an option right in the heart of the city. We love to help you. And if you're struggling with reading, or if you're struggling with just finding that piece to where you can say, like, hey, I can't do this, know that you're not alone and that you have people who can support you. Give us a call. Don't short yourself. Play for the long haul. One love.
Hey, I like that. I like that. So, you guys, this is Vested in Milwaukee. Again, I want to thank Feed Spot, because with Feed Spot, we have now to rank number 9 of one of the best podcasts in the city. In the state of Wisconsin. We rank number 9 out of 100, over 200 podcasts. We're ranked number 9 in the state as one of the most best political podcasts. And the reason we political, because I teach the kingdom of God, and if you're teaching kingdom, that's government. And if
Right.
you're teaching, if government is political, and everything about life is political, even though people say I'm gonna stay out of the political arena. Well, guess what? If they raise tax, that's political. Guess
That's
what?
right.
If it's the education system, that's political. So everything that we do. All right, I will give her the information, and I'll give her your number so she can come on your show.
Thank you, Sayer. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So you guys, everything about our lives, you gotta understand. But if you can't read, and we stay ignorant, and because knowledge is only information. So if you don't get the right information, you'll be screwed. Let me just put it that way. I'm not going to keep us going, because we are going a whole different way if I start. So I'm not going to do that. I just want to announce one more time, Sip and Paint. It's going to be at the press room, 3103 West Forest Home Avenue, and we have live music. We got a violinist that's going to be playing. So, I'm a basketball coach, and when people do this now, do you know I was ignorant to that? I didn't know what it meant. I'm serious. I was saying something to the basketball team, and they liked what I said, and all of them started going, and I'm like, wait, what y'all doing? What is that? And they was like, oh, we just in agreement with you. I'm like,
Yes, that's in great. Like therapy snaps, man. Like,
yeah. I'm sitting there like, God, I feel so old. They snapping. I'm like, hey, what y'all doing? But I'm just grateful. The Lord is blessed. I am the head basketball coach over at Kingdom Prep Lutheran High School. It's an all-boy high school, and I have an opportunity to impart in those young men's lives, not just basketball, but life itself.
yes.
But I will take them to state, though. We're
Okay.
going to state. We're going to state. But I just want to say it's just been a blessing. And it's been a blessing to have you with us. So
Thank you.
don't leave the studio yet when I take you off.
Okay.
But I do want to give you his info and stuff. I'm learning. Come on, Sayer. I'm learning. I'm learning, man. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. To be mayor, I got to know everything. I got to be able to mingle with everybody. And so, I'm getting there, and I'm not. I'm not. There you go, Coach Mike. That's one of my assistant coaches, Coach Mike, and I'm blessed that he's watching. But you guys, this is what it's about. It's about us coming together, learning from one another, empowering one another, embracing each other's ideas, right? Because God gave everybody a free will. So if everybody got a free will, that means they have the ability to think on their own. And so coming together, somebody's idea might be working just a little better than yours. So I'm not that big type of person where I can't humble and say, okay, let's do it your way. Because that's what we need. We need to be able to come together and say, let's try this and let's try that. So we'll have a great community again. So I'm excited, you guys. Thanks for being on. Please join us for the Sip and Paint. Go to the, if you have any information, the number that's on the screen, you can call me and I'll direct you on how you can register. Bring your wife, bring your friend, sip and rib on each other paint. If you can't paint, just rib on each other paint. But let's have a great time at the press room. I'm excited about it. So you guys, again, I thank Mercedes, the CEO and founder of Joyce House Educational Center. So, Sayer, I will give her your number when we get off the air. For everybody, we want to thank you guys for watching. Until until tomorrow night. God bless.